So December 12th, 2020, a Saturday, Kevin just got a call from Kevin Mandiant. They said we shipped tainted code. It was something they could look at to see whether they did it. The hacker was attributed to the Russian SVR by the US government. We did not focus on attribution. So I actually had a heart attack that week.
And why don't we jump right in?
Yep.
Tell me about, first we'll talk about the incident, and then we'll talk about the SEC and everything that happened. But why don't we start with the incident? You know, what were you doing at that time? What happened on that day? Walk us through this scene that, where were you? And we take it from there.
So December 12th, 2020, a Saturday. Now we're getting ready for Christmas. Everything's kind of going normal. Just normal stuff, slowing down. We're just in the middle of that type of environment.
You're on your holidays with your family.
Yeah, got up, had breakfast. So just kind of a normal Saturday. Then I get a call from our general counsel. And he says, Kevin just got a call from Kevin Mandiant, and they said we shipped tainted code. Like, okay. And you're going to get a call from Charles Carmichael, who's the CTO for Mandiant. And we're going to just make sure it's real. We're going to get more information. So it's like, okay, got it. So right now you're just, okay, is it real? What's going on? How much details you get? And I got on the phone with Charles, and he essentially showed me decompiled code. With that decompiled code, it was like, okay, that does not look like ours. And so, please.
I'll take a step back, and I want to push you to with just some more details, right? So this was the morning. You just had breakfast, and you got a call. Once you did that, what happened, right? So were you on a call with the CTO?
Quickly got called on a call with
Zoom
Charles.
call and online. And what did it start with?
So everybody's in the middle of COVID here, remember? So everybody's working from home, doing their thing. So that's sort of where we are. Right. We're right at 2020 in the heart. There's not a vaccine yet.
Sure.
So we're right in the middle. So at home, Charles calls or I call him, don't remember which. We just go through stuff, and it's real. So then it's kind of the oh shit moment, right? It is real, right? And we actually ship tainted code. And then to who, to what? The other part of it is that it was going to go public on Sunday. So Saturday call, going public on Sunday.
Public in what sense?
So press had heard about it and knew about the incident. So we aren't quite sure where or how, but press was going to be published on Sunday.
And you got to hear that from your PR agency?
So we got to hear that from Mandiant. They knew. They were like, sorry, we can't give you more time. But it was going to go public on Sunday. So we worked really hard to try to get our message out before that message. We didn't actually didn't work. So we got our message out about 4 o'clock. They got their message out about 1 or 2. So it broke news. So we're working through this and trying to figure out
Saturday afternoon till Monday night. Walk us through those 2 days and 1 night.
3 days and 1 night. So we're working remote, middle of COVID again. So working remote. Get the right people on the phone, communicate to the architects teams and people that can help me diagnose, because we need to know who, right? We need to know how many systems were compromised. We needed to know what versions. We needed to know all of that information, because that's what we would want to publish, right? So we're working
But
through
that is not what you needed for the 8K, right?
It is, actually, very much so.
You want to get that, so.
So I compartmentalize very well, right?
Did you have some of your leaders who came to you and spoke to you about this, that, hey, don't worry?
No, not at all. We were too busy, right? We all had things that had to get done, right?
It's time sensitive.
So it's very super time sensitive, right? So we had 1 day to come up with enough information to be able to share with people. So
I'll take care of that later.
So busy,
right now,
if you have to fire me, but I got work to do. So let me get to work. So you have to, that's what it's like. So very much so. It's just so intense that you have so many things that you need to get done to be able to help the situation.
If you can share, was your family familiar with this? And
my family understood basically that it was happening.
Something was happening.
Right, it was happening. but a lot of the time, so first night, yes. And then, yes, it's important. And I'm going into the office and I don't know when I'm going to come home, or it's Sunday. Understood that. Home for me has always been my safe place.
Okay.
One of the things my wife said during this is like, okay, I know this is your safe place, but if you need to talk to me about something, it's fine. Please do. But you get out of one of these and you're talking so much. The worst thing you want to do is go home and talk about it again. Or at least that's me, right? That's the way that I dealt with it.
In a way, it's a downtime for you so that you can recharge when you come back next morning.
Or the next time I get home, right?
Maybe midnight again.
Right. So we knew the code itself was well written, insightful, thoughtful. Did things like wait 14 days before it started. So we knew those things. So we expected.
This is the code that the hackers
put in.
Oh, wow.
So we expected it was a nation state. So from both Mandiant believed that, our threat hunt partner believed that. So it was just had all the signs of a nation state. So also at the same time, our communication, so O365 was compromised.
Oh, okay.
We had to figure out different ways to communicate.
Is it the same hackers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
What did they do?
So what they did is installed what turned an illicit consent grant, and that enabled them to read emails, read team. That's the way we believe that they figured out how to attack the build system.
So they were in the system already reading your communication, your email over Teams.
And that's, so you can get in the front door in the lobby, right? But how do you get to the build systems that's on floor 27 in the closet, right? How do you figure that out? Well, you figure that out by reading emails. Figure that out by looking at those communications. Then you figure out how you do a plan. So a well-run mission, essentially.
And when did you find out what range of time did they do this?
About a year before.
Oh, okay.
So they were in email. And then they essentially compromised a build in October. It was a test run, 1 line of code, 2 lines of code, just something that they could look at to see whether they did it. The hacker it was attributed to the Russian SVR by the US government. We did not focus on attribution. That was one of the things that we didn't do at all.
Okay.
So Sunday is going through all of this. Then the news breaks.
Yeah.
So as soon as the news breaks, the world goes on fire. Right?
Takes a hit.
Well, Talk took a hit, but then all of our customers. So worldwide, we talk about 300,000 customers.
Wow.
So we're pretty much, everywhere.
And out of 300,000 customers, how many were affected?
18,000 had downloaded the version.
Got it.
Now, when we look at affected, under 100 were actually affected.
Okay.
Because the code required you to be on the internet, be able to talk to a unknown command and control server, then to be able to take instruction. So a number of our clients were not in that situation, right? Okay. They had it internally facing, they didn't have, they had blocked traffic, they had tools that blocked traffic, but under 100 got into that situation.
So around 6% of your customer base got affected, but out of that 6%, which is 18,000 out of 300,000, you're talking about only 100, where it actually executed itself and made successful connection with the command and control center.
Correct.
Got it.
Or it had made a connection, but they didn't care. So CISO, incredible partner, they were there at 2 a.m., they were there at 6 a.m.
Wow.
And they were on the phone with us to help with anything that they could.
When did you release the first safe version?
Yeah, so we released the first, believe it or not, the first version the first week.
Oh, the first week itself?
Yep.
Okay.
So had to convince everybody that was safe. So we had, somewhat of...
What did you do to convince? Because I'm pretty sure that was a big question.
Yeah, so...
How do we not know this is...
Right, how do we know that it's not there, right? And CISO had others look at it and look at the build. So not really inspect code, but do testing on our build. Make sure that it's not there.
Don't you think one of the big problems, if you're shipping something in a week, and we talk about these sleeping, code base, which basically doesn't dock for the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yep.
So even if you scan something, unless you're scanning the code,
So we
how
knew,
do you know that it's not there?
Yeah, so a number of things such as a two-way build, that's what we developed in the first few weeks. So again, what lessons can we learn? Opposed to the Russians' attack being a theoretical model, I think we elevated it to this can really happen.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about how it happened, and we'll talk about what went on. So all of those things.
Because you had an incredible way in which you responded. And congratulations, because this, I know, would have been nothing short of a nightmare. But fast forward 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, our lawyers appear everywhere always, right? So that happens after an incident. Start collecting data. The process really is that, an SEC starts an investigation, others do. They do depositions, they do those types of things. Then they have a set of people that they are interested in. And again, all of this is very public, that their process is a pre-Wells. So it says, we're considering charging these people with the company. Well, I was one of 5 or 10 people that were on that list. And
But they called you out.
in the company. No, this is earlier on.
Oh, this is
a year, 22.
Okay, the 2 years.
So we start doing discovery and start doing the process to have, at that point in a process, you get your own attorney. So
Does the company pay for that?
yes, the company paid for attorneys.
And this is a big call out, because a lot of CISOs I know, they don't actually put this as a part of their contract.
Correct.
So sometimes, even if it's not a part of the contract, the company is good and they want to do that.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're asked to leave, unfortunately, to hire your own attorney, it's crazy.
It's crazy, right? So the attorney fees in the millions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And to a lot of CISOs because the reality is CISO churn is very high. So there's a lot of new jobs that a lot of CISOs go to all the time. I think it's a very natural thing that I'm starting to see, to have this as a part of the contract.
Right.
To say that, look, I'm joining,
And
but this is the prerequisite that I have.
But we've got a lot of CISOs that haven't had that, or we've got a lot of CISOs that don't have a contract. We've got a lot of CISOs, but have the conversation is the big thing. Sure. So that was sometime in fall of 22. So 23, I was in Zurich. It was at a conference in Zurich and presenting on some things there. And I get a call from my attorney, and they say, okay, so here's the Wells notice came out, and inside that Wells notice is the company and you. And that's it. Oh. So that was very, very, very unexpected by everyone.
Yep.
So unexpected by me. So I actually had a heart attack that week.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I flew home, but I had a heart attack. Couldn't walk from the terminal to my car without stopping. And when I got home, I told my wife, something's going on. And I said, well, I'll just go to the doctor's tomorrow. She said, no, we're going now. So went to the hospital.
The ER?
The ER. They confirmed that I had a heart attack. They do a blood test and look for an enzyme.
Sure.
Says, yes, you had a heart attack. Yes, you're now admitted. Here's your heparin drip. And we'll keep doing tests.
And this is like a day after?
So this is about, let's see, I flew in on Saturday. So this would have been Thursday or Friday that I found out. So yeah, this was September 23. What are we at, in 25, we're still going. So
God.
It just is a long, long, long process.
And in the history of SEC, they've never done this, right?
No. So, but a couple of things that you have to do. So when I look at the big picture, right, and when you look at the big picture, if you look at what effect it has had on the community, it's actually galvanized the community. It's actually empowered them to have the conversations with their executive team. Oh. It's actually made the CISO have a voice to boards and executive team. So if I take me out of it, has it been good for the CISO and security community? And the answer is yes, actually.
But Tim, it's like saying that any big attack, like the 9/11 attack, made our airports and planes more secure. Of course it did. that we shouldn't have gone that.
We shouldn't have gone that path, but you need inflection points to move things. It gives you a lot of ability to make change. It gives you a lot of ability to keep up with the adversary. So all of those things are fantastic. So we just have to try to, as a community, try to help move the needle so that we are mature and that we do have safeguards that let us be mature. And we do have safeguards that allow us to do our job without facing liability. So that's what I hope.
Talking about
future.
Safeguards and liabilities, right? One of the things we've been doing has been really trying to talk about risk in a business term, which actually has the likelihood and the impact. So, hey, if somebody infiltrates into our code base and it goes to so many customers, if you could quantify that, it doesn't have to be exactly 2,000 customers with $23 million and 43 cents. We're talking about more like ranges. That has helped a lot of companies, and that actually enables you data-backed decision making, and actually makes you prioritize what is more important than the other. That's exactly what we've seen with so many customers. Tim, on a closing note, if you were to advise a CISO, the three things, given everything you've gone through, and you have a seasoned CISO who's listening to this, right? What would be your top three advice that you would give?
First, don't give up. That's number one, right? Is really that we will get through this. We will mature our market. We will come out stronger in the end. So that's number one.
Sure.
Number two is look to always kind of do what's right. Look for transparency. Look to learn from things. Look to learn from events. Look for inflection points that can help our community, because we really do need to work together. Right? We are stronger together. So we absolutely need to do that. And the third one is, just be patient with the process a little bit. It's things take longer than what we would like to happen, and it doesn't happen overnight. So be patient, but be involved, right? Step up, be part of the solution, be part of activities that will help us drive to those next levels.
Tim, it's just been so insightful. I've been spellbound with your conversation while you were describing everything that happened. The way I take this back, and of course I've known of you through a lot of circles, but today getting to hear this firsthand, not only you've been a great CISO and you did the right things, but the way you handle it and your advice, you're a true trailblazer, and it's such an honor to be doing this with you. Thank you so much, Tim, for doing this.
Thank you.